Hello everyone and welcome back to the Battle of Edgehill. It's quite late at night here when I'm doing this game, so I'm going to be speaking a bit more quieter than usual, so you might have to turn up your volume. And what's happened here is the time is now 3:45 PM in the battle. We're at the start of turn 3. And what's happened in the battle, the last round that you missed, is the king, he's moved back for safety. He was a bit worried about how close the enemy were getting. And Astley, he's actually moved forward, so he's joined the front of the regiment, so he's going to be leading the battle from the front now. The Balfour, on the centre of the parliamentarian side, he did try for a change of orders, to change from received charge, but he failed. You have to remember as well, he was on a no continue situation, so he couldn't even get a continuation. His cavalry are moving up slightly, which you can't see off shot here. They're moving up slightly to support the right wing now. On the right wing of the Parliament side, let me just show you this. There was some fire battle, and the new addition here is that we've lost 100 horse from the parliamentarian, from the Royalist left wing, so it's really not going very well as they hoped on the left wing here. And they did try to do a continuation attempt to use the dragoons again to make a shot, because no one could fire back because he hasn't got any pistols either, so he's not reloaded yet. So that continuation attempt was unfortunately unsuccessful for Fielding. That's the situation. Now it's the start of turn 3, and this time there's going to be a change in tactics. Rupert is not making much progress on the right. He's against a very difficult defensive position against those hedges and a number of cavalry that are well set up. So he's going to defer to the army commander. So the central wing under Astley, he is going to take the first move in this round, and what he's going to do is hope for a continuation as well to try and get some close combat down the centre. So that's what we're really looking for in this round, and we'll see how it works. Again, we've got to watch out for cavalry interception. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So the whole of the 45 degrees down that way is sort of no-go area for Astley, because if he went down there, he could well get intercepted. What he's hoping to do is move up here, which would eventually force the parliamentarian left-wing cavalry out of their defensive position, so Rupert can attack that way. So I don't know if that's going to work. Now Astley can't. He could move right up to there, right up to Colonel Essex, but he's going to get fired on by Salvo, and he wouldn't be able to shoot back at that point. So what he's going to do is he's going to move within 1 hex of Colonel Essex, and then the next round, if he gets a continuation, he's going to use advancing fire. He'll still get shot back by Salvo, but he'll be able to return that salvo. So let's make these moves quickly now and see what happens. So 1, 2, 3, 4. He doesn't want to get there, so it's 1, 2, 3. He's going to stop there. Now the cannons have seen an opportunity here, so they're going to fire at a range of 3 now. They're going to react here. So let me just get the fire table. So 4 to 8 pounds sackers at a range of 3. There's no adverse modifiers there. So they're going to need a 6 or higher. They're going to need a 6 or higher here to make a hit. They get a 2. So this cannon is now flipped to the fire side. They can't fire again this turn at all. So cannon not very effective in this game. Let's continue with the movement now. Right, these units here, they're going to try and bunch up. They're both going to try and attack this side here and hopefully cause some 2, 3. They're hopefully going to cause some damage pretty soon. He's relying on the centre. So they're back in command. These need to get back in command. 1, 2, 3. and 4. So using up their maximum movement points, moving 4 there, they're keeping in command. Down here we've got a cannon. The cannon's going to wait until they get into very close range. So if they move forward, they're going to get fire back on 3 there. So they're going to wait. The other cannon could have waited as well, but you know, they tried, they failed. It's not too much of a loss for them. Right, let's get these back in command now. So they need to be within 2 hexes. He wants to leave a gap in case there's any retreating. He's going to go up to there. Now the final movement here. So he wants to get back within 2 hexes. 1, 2, 3. Would that work? That would just work. So he's going to leave it there. 1, 2. There can be no cavalry interception there. That's fine. The cannons at the back here, they can't fire. They've got no line of sight. They're not in command. They're just going to stay there. That is the central movement done. King Charles has an option to move, but he's not going to use it yet because it's too dangerous. There's nothing to reform. The key here is, can Astley get a continuation? So for continuation on a charge order, it's 0 to 3. Then the leadership modifier is a 1, so he needs a 0 to 4 there. Right, he needs a 0 to 4 here basically to get a continuation. He's got it. Now, this is going to be interesting. So, right, let's play out this turn. So the first one to make the move is Astley. He's going to avoid 1, 2, 3, 4. He needs to avoid that, so he's going to come down here to avoid cavalry interception, which is unfortunate because he's blocking off the advance of this unit here. But he's got an advantage that this unit at the back here, they can't advance at the minute. So we get a fire of Salvo back. So Colonel Essex's 2,000 men are going to fire a Salvo. This could be quite devastating. But we'll see how it goes. He had to do something there. Right. The thing of these as well is it forms, the way the units form up is musket, pike, musket. So there's 2 muskets on either side. That means they get 2 shots against this unit here. So we're going to add up the cumulative effects and see what happens. So on the musket table there's no formation. Fine. Let's just roll up the damage and see what happens. 0. Wow. So 0 is actually a miss, which is pretty shocking actually. Pretty shocking. Right, let's see what else happens. And that's a 3. That's also a low roll, but it's a hit of 1. So 100 men have been fired on by Salvo and they're destroyed. Because the leader's there, we need to roll on the leader table to see if the leader's killed or out of action, which is going to be very rare. I think we need to, okay, it's a 9 basically, so if there's a 9, the leader's in trouble. So anything but a 9. 4, fine. Astley's okay there. So I don't think they need to take a well, actually they do need a morale check because they've been fired on by Salvo. But the thresholds aren't significant enough. Yeah, so they've got a morale of 7, so they could have actually afforded 2 hits in there to avoid a morale check. But they've been fired on by Salvo. Okay, so we're just firing this as a normal morale check. Looking for 7 or less, but because we've got the unit commands are there. I think he affects the check. Yes, that's fine. So we're looking for 8 or less. So it'd be very unlikely to go morale shaken. If it's a 6, that's fine. Left passed easily. Now, fire salvo back. This is advancing fire. So we get a massive volley of musket fire from either side now. So again, we're going to give the same treatment back now. But it's at 8. Wow, that's going to be a lot more hits now. This could be interesting. On the table, an 8 on the salvo is a hit of 2. Let's see what else we get. That's an 8 again. So that 8 is another hit of 2, so they've taken 4 damage now. That could prove a problem for Essex's men. This could be the breakthrough they need. So there's going to be multiple morale checks here. So they've been fired on by Salvo, which is 1. Have they reached the casualty threshold? 11. So their original strength? No, not yet, because they need to get. They could withstand 5 hits there, so they've only got 4. So they haven't hit that. And yeah, I think that's it actually. What's 962 in the rules? Just casualty hits from fire combat. Let me just check this. So if they have got a morale of 6 or less on any hit, they have to take a fire. So they've got a -1 modifier there. So basically they need 5 or less now, and they get that. So they're not morale shaken. So that didn't work out too badly for them. They could have had a morale shaken there. Right, let's see what happens next. Right now, right, so this unit is going to wheel around here because that's going to keep this unit in command just off there. Okay, now we've got, this is Wentworth, I believe. Yeah, Wentworth's unit. He's going to go against Meldrum's unit. Bang. Now the cannons can fire back. So the cannon's going to fire at a range of 1. This is a 3-pound Falcon cannons. Let's see what happens. This is just for the artillery, so he gets a +1 on his die. So let's see what happens. So that's a 4, which turns into a 5, which is still a miss. He would have needed a 6 to turn into a 7, basically. So the cannons fired with no success there. And now Meldrum, he's also going to fire a salvo back here. So let's see if they get better luck this time. So again, it's 2 dice rolls. Let's just move the action, see the action there. A 7, so that's going to be a hit. So that's on the salvo table, that's a 2, that's a 2 damage, and a 7 again. Wasn't much of a roll, but that's a 2 damage. There you go. So we've got 4 there. He's got a morale of 6 and an original strength of 18. So there's nothing about the casualty threshold table. But again, they've fired on salvo and they've taken 4 hits this fire round. So that's a -1. So they're going to need 5 or less now. 5 or less. They get a 2. So again, survive. There's no morale hit. All the units are holding up at the minute, so let's see what happens next. They're going to fire salvo back using the advancing fire, and they get a 1, which is actually, that's actually a hit of 1. So let me just check. Yeah, it's a hit of 1. Hang on. They get -1 for every 2 casualty points on a 2 hex unit. So that's actually took them down, so that's a miss. Next one. That's a 3. They get -1 for every 2 points, so that is a 1 hit. That's a 1 hit. So the die roll would have been a 1 there, which is a hit of 1. So that's not going to cause too much an issue for an 18 strength unit. But they have been fired on by Salvo, so they have to take a morale check. And they're going to need a 7 or less here to pass that morale check. That's a 4, so that's fine. Fine. That one's moved in. Now we've got this unit here, which is, it looks like Byron, I believe. Byron, yep. So he can move up to 4. Does he want to come out to start moving up this way? Possibly. I think so. So he's going to go... I think that's a 2, 3. He's going to have to stay there. He traces a line of commands, but the thing is, if these break now, they want to clear exit. So if they break during close combat, they want to clear exit. So that's fine for now. He's starting to wheel around. He's going to come up here, support the cavalry. Right, so we've got one more unit back here to move. Potentially they could start moving up here to finally threaten the cavalry up here. He's going to go 1, 2. Okay. The risk now is interception. So, does the left-wing parliamentarians attempt an interception? They do. And the interception unit is going to be this one here. So to intercept, they're on a received charge order, so they need a 0 to 3. But if they've got an original morale of 6, which they have to add +1. So we're actually at a 0 to 2 only. 0 to 2 only. And it's a 4, so they can't intercept. So the question is it worth using another cavalry unit to try and chase these off? If he comes out now, it could be too risky. So I think he'll leave that for now. Okay, let's resolve the close combat here. So Astley, he is going to attack because he seems to have quite a good position there. So Astley, the leader of the wing, is now going to attack in close combat. So I'm going to roll the dice and add the modifiers. That's a 4. So then we've got the leadership rating, which takes it up to a 5. The morale differential, he's got a bonus there, that takes it up to 6. The strength ratio, not going to have an effect. So that's a 6. The there's no formation shaken or broken, so it's still on a 6. Don't believe we've got heavy infantry momentum. Let me just check what heavy infantry momentum is. Heavy infantry momentum would be if the attacker has moved 2 hexes into combat without changing facing, which he doesn't have that. So we're on a 6 at the moment. So the result is 6, which means the defender morale is shaken, and the defender has to retreat 2 hexes, and the attacker must advance into a vacated hex. Okay, so the retreat means they're going to go back 2 hexes, which is down to, he's going to go back that way. the morale is shaken, and also the formation is shaken, of course, because they've been involved in close combat. So that's up there, and then the attacker must advance into the vacated hex, which is this hex here, and the formation is shaken, but he's still okay on his morale, and that does trigger some reactive fire here. So we've now got a chance to potentially fire Salvo, which he does as a reactive fire, but he can only use one dice roll here because it's his right flank musketeers which are going to be firing. Let's see what happens here. So he's got one dice roll. That's an 8. Oh, that's a hit of 2. So the Astley's taken a hit of 2 there. That takes his casualties up to 3. So, what does that mean? He would have to take a morale check again. He's been fired on by Salvo. So he's going to need a... Let's just see what he needs. He's going to need a... He's going to need a 7 or less. He's going to need 7 or less here, because Astley's stacked with the unit. So that's a 3. So that's fine. He survives that morale check. Now Astley was involved in close combat. He's also been fired. So we need to roll 2 dice for Astley to see if he leaves the table. He'll only leave the table on a roll of 9 on 2 dice. That's a 5. And that's a 0. So Astley actually survives that battle. So this is an example of the action that's going on right now. I'm going to stop this video and I'll pick up the action when we get more further in this game. I'll see you soon.